When someone rings your doorbell, wouldn't it be nice if a tablet inside your house automatically showed the camera? No subscriptions, no cloud dependency, just your own system. Today, I'm going to show you how to do this using UniFi Protect and Home Assistant. And I'll walk you through the problems I ran into along the way, because the final solution ended up being a little different than I expected. The goal is simple. When the doorbell rings, the tablet automatically switches to a doorbell screen. The camera fills the display, and after a few seconds, it returns to the normal dashboard. Everything runs locally using Home Assistant and UniFi Protect. First, we need to connect the UniFi Protect to Home Assistant. Go to Settings, Devices and Services, and add the UniFi Protect integration. One important thing that I discovered here is that Home Assistant needs access to your local UniFi console. That means you'll need to use a local account, not your cloud account, and get that API key through that local console account. Once the integration is connected, Home Assistant creates several entities for the doorbell. You'll see things like the doorbell button sensor, the camera streams, and different resolution channels. One thing I noticed is that some of the camera streams were disabled by default, so you may need to enable them. UniFi exposes several streams: high resolution, medium resolution, and low resolution. High resolution looks great, but loads slower, especially on tablets. My first idea was to create a pop-up when the doorbell rings. Home Assistant has a great extension called Browser Mod that allows automations to control specific browsers or tablets. With Browser Mod, each browser becomes its own device that you can target. After installing it and identifying my tablet browser, I created an automation that triggered a pop-up with the camera. The pop-up worked perfectly on my computer, but on my small tablet, the pop-up opened and the video was blank. The camera worked fine on the dashboard, but not inside the pop-up container. This seems to be some kind of limitation with some tablets. So instead of forcing the camera into a pop-up, I switched to a much simpler approach. When the doorbell rings, the tablet navigates to a dedicated doorbell page. That page contains just one card, the doorbell camera, so the camera fills the entire screen. Here's my final YAML file. This automation does three things. It detects the doorbell press, shows a pop-up with video on the computer, switches the tablet to a full-screen camera dashboard. Alias is just the label Home Assistant shows in the automation itself. The description is optional. The trigger is the thing that kicks off the automation. In this case, we're watching the doorbell sensor. The entity represents the actual doorbell press. One thing I ran into earlier was accidentally picking the wrong sensor. Some of the doorbell entities represent motion, other events, not the actual ring. Conditions are optional filters. Since this list is empty, the automation runs every time the doorbell is pressed. Examples of conditions you could add later: only at night, only when someone is home, only when the alarm is armed. Browser Mod allows Home Assistant automations to control specific browsers or tablets. Without it, Home Assistant can't target individual screens. When Browser Mod registers a browser, it creates a unique device ID for it. This allows automations to target specific scenes like a desktop computer or a wall tablet. This section defines the appearance and content of the pop-up. Browser Mod pop-ups can render any Lovelace card. A picture entity card is commonly used to display cameras. UniFi exposes multiple camera streams. I'm using the low resolution stream because it loads faster. The live setting tells Home Assistant to render the video stream instead of a static snapshot. Instead of showing a pop-up on the tablet, this automation switches the tablet to a dedicated doorbell dashboard. This ID represents the wall tablet browser registered with Browser Mod. The delay keeps the camera visible for a few seconds so you have time to see who's at the door. This time it sends the tablet back to the main dashboard, still targeting the tablet. This is the normal dashboard page the tablet displays most of the time. So the flow becomes doorbell pressed, tablet switches to camera, 20 seconds pass, the tablet returns to normal dashboard. Restart mode means that if someone presses the doorbell again while the automation is running, it restarts the automation instead of stacking multiple copies. This setup gives me the best of both worlds: a quick pop-up on my computer and a full-screen intercom display on the wall tablet. This is just the beginning of what you can do with this setup. In future tutorials, I'm planning to expand the system even further using the AI detection features built into UniFi and Home Assistant. For example, notifications when my toddler starts crying inside his room, or alerts when the dogs are barking outside the window. If you're interested in building smarter, local-first systems like this, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be doing a lot more Home Assistant and UniFi tutorials soon.